If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. You can record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. You can make money right from your podcast with no minimum listeners. It's everything you need to make a podcast right in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome to the Be the Adult podcast. Be the Adult is a nonprofit organization that provides blueprints for calm and effective parenting so that children can grow into their best selves. Because ultimately, we aren't raising children. We are raising little people who will one day be adults.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Marisol.
Are you nervous?
Very. I have resisted this for a really long time, but I'm glad I'm here.
This is the Be the Adult podcast, something that's been in production for, I would say, 3 years.
Long time.
My name is Marisol Sanchez, and I will be co-hosting the first season of Be the Adult podcast.
Yay.
I have a love for podcasting. I've produced a few of them, and I have been nagging you, Nancy Kotz.
That is true.
for years to do this podcast for us. I'm going to say parenting because I'm going to probably put it into the parenting category on this season.
Absolutely. Parenting, and just know these are relationship skills.
Relationship skills. So let's talk about Be the Adult. What is Be the Adult?
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, go for it.
Okay. I am learning as we go. So Be the Adult is a nonprofit. First and foremost, to me, that's one of the most important things to convey. We have a mission to help kids be their best selves in life. And I always say that we collectively are amazing Be the Adult group that Marisol is a large part of.
I'm an OG. Do you know what an OG is?
No.
I'm an original. Oh, no, I don't even know what the G stands for. I was going to say original member, but...
Can we say original go-getter? How's that?
I'm an original member. Yeah, original go-getter of the nonprofit.
Yes.
You put that together, but you're a therapist.
Yeah, can I call you OC, original champion?
Oh, yeah. You can call me whatever you want.
Okay. So I have been working with kids for years. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm a therapist in private practice. Been doing this for about 20 years, and I lecture in the community, schools, organizations, talking about parenting and effective communication.
Can I anecdotally just add that you're, I think, one of the best therapists. We live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've lived here almost 20 years, and you're one of the best therapists. I know them all. I'm just kidding. I don't know every therapist in town, but you have an excellent reputation. I recommend you often, and many people have been, better served with you in their lives. So,
thank you. Just
my personal, review for you.
Thank you very much. So that makes my heart really happy. Yeah. So I'm actually getting tears in my eyes because, it's just really...
Well, that's why I was so passionate about you doing this podcast, because you helped me. So, can I take over for a second?
Yeah.
I have 3 children. I'm a single mom. And you helped me with these concepts be the mother that I am today, which is not perfect. I don't want to ever be held accountable or be the face of any nonprofit.
None of us are perfect yet.
Nonprofit for parenting at all. I could just imagine the text, I saw your kid. I'm not trying to pretend to be that. What I am very grateful for is it gave me tools. No one gave me a book when I became a mother that said, here's the way to do it. There were lots of resources.
Right.
But they scared me or shamed me.
It can be overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah.
The concepts that you've provided for me help me look at the tools that I didn't have. I did not have a toolbox for parenting, and you provided me with the tools that I needed to be the parent that I am. So I will always be grateful for you. My kids will always be grateful for you. And I was desperate to get you to share these concepts on a podcast because I wanted to give it to anyone and everyone that, could listen to it. And the thing is, they're simple. They're hard. They're not hard concepts. They're simple concepts. They might be hard to apply.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of conditioning that you have to go through, undo yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We all have a backpack we bring with us, and it was created by our family of origin, whomever was significant in raising us. And some of those tools work beautifully. They make us who we are, and some of those tools don't. So you're absolutely right. We have to first become aware of the things that help us be our best selves and also the things that get in our way. And that's so hard. I think part of my tears are coming from your courage to become your best self, because I think that's the hardest thing we can do. So here we go. Aww. Yeah. So when I go to give parenting talks, I never know how many people are coming. It's often surprising to me because I think the whole world needs to be there.
Do you know that the first time I met you, I don't know if you remember this, it was at I think you were just starting to, you were been practicing for a while, but you were maybe just started speaking at people's houses. And there was only a handful of people. And it was the first time I'd ever heard of you and I remember leaving there, and I only had my twins at the time. I didn't have my youngest. I remember you blew my mind away with, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something so simple that I was like, I really have no clue what I'm doing as a parent. I was like, whoa.
And that was the beginning of your growth, having that awareness, right?
Yeah.
The courage to become aware of that and then to feel it is how we grow.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really hard when I go to these schools or organizations, the people who come, whether it's 5 or 50.
And now I've seen you with large, presentations that you do. And you're just amazing when you go up and do your speeches.
Well, you're sweet. I'm passionate about it. I really want us to change the world. And I've said to my kids, I have 3 boys. Well, they're actually young men now, almost 25, almost 23, and 18. Gonna be an empty nester soon, which is crazy. I love watching them fly, but I've always said since they were young that everything starts in the home. There go my tears again. I will try to move through that as this podcasting continues. But I believe really to change the world, we've got to create peaceful homes.
Well, something I tell my kids, which can kind of lead into why you started Be the Adult and why I'm a huge supporter of it, is I tell my kids, I'm screwing up. I know this.
We all are.
Because I'm flawed, because I'm a human. And because of that, there are things that I'm giving you that are not going to be healthy.
Right.
Hopefully I'm doing a lot of things that are really healthy.
You are.
Thank you. But that's just the human condition.
Yes.
So to learn and be aware of it as early as possible and work through it and learn to process it, the better of an adult you're going to be.
Absolutely.
So I just want to mention that because sometimes I think people don't want to talk about their story of origin. They don't want to blame their mom and dad for anything. It's not about blaming your parents. I look at it as just accepting that everyone's flawed.
Yeah.
And so just looking at those flaws and saying, I'm going to do what I can to undo this.
Yeah. Can I reframe a little bit?
Yes, please, because I didn't come out well.
No, I love what you're saying. The piece, the flaw part to me kind of raises my, not sure what the word is. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, I feel that in my stomach. I believe that none of us are flawed. I believe that a lot of us were wired in a way that we, to kind of survive or creatively adjust to our environment as children, we picked up, we were conditioned with some kind of unhealthy qualities So, and it's
flaw might be a strong word.
Yeah. Okay.
I meant more like we're not perfect.
Yes.
We're always chasing perfectionism, and I've just accepted I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So maybe that's is that a better way to rephrase it?
Yeah, I love that. Yes. To me, that has more grace for yourself. Yeah. And if the more grace we have for ourselves, the more grace we'll have for our kids and the rest of the world. So yeah, what I was talking about, reasons that I created Be the Adult, because a lot of people come into therapy, or if I'm out in the community and they've read a lot of great books out there on parenting, beautiful tools, skills that work, very effective, have research behind them, right? And yet they couldn't put them into play. And so I went through a Gestalt training program at the Gestalt Institute of Cleveland, amazing place, a Gestalt therapy training program where you really learn how to be present. Simple concept again, but extremely hard.
Oh, it's simple, but
to do. I think I'll be practicing that the rest of my life.
I will be. I practice it daily.
Yes, I have to. And I still think I'm in the beginning part of that. But so Be the Adult is really taking the skills I learned as a therapist, especially as a Gestalt therapist, of learning how to be my best self, and then combining those with the tools, the very effective tools that are out there. To me, kind of creating a marriage of the two is the best way to be able to be an effective parent and an effective and peaceful person. Because if it's just one without the other, it's really hard, I believe, to show up as our best selves as parents. But when you can really practice looking at yourself and how we show up with the tools that are out there, then I think that's a great combination.
I'm going to ask this and reframe it if I'm not doing it correctly, but I feel, you know, when you go on an airplane and they say put the mask on yourself before town, I feel that, at least for mothers maybe, broad stroking it, that we have it backwards sometimes. That we so focus on these external beings so much out of love, out of concern, out of that we do such a disservice because we aren't taking care of ourselves and we aren't looking at ourselves first. We aren't putting the mask on ourselves and serving ourselves. So I feel like it's an epidemic.
Absolutely.
And it's counterintuitive for women, I feel, to think about that.
Yes.
Like being kind to yourself or taking care of yourself or healing yourself to then be the best parent possible. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And I love how you phrase that. Yeah. And I think a lot of that's fear driven, right? And of anxiety driven, because we know that we would have changed our childhood or part of our childhood, and we want to do it differently. And our heart is saying, okay, this is what I need to do. And so we put our energy into trying to create these, quote, air quote, perfect people, whatever that means. I don't know. Whatever that means to us. And it takes so much time and energy that we often kind of lose our sense of self and lose the importance of having grace for ourselves and feeding our souls, and like you said, giving ourselves oxygen. And we all are doing our best, and we all are coming from a good place. And that's what you mentioned a few minutes ago, not blaming ourselves nor blaming our parents. Our parents, or whomever raised us, did their very best with what they had at that time, the tools they had, what they were bringing with them emotionally. And some of it, again, was healthy and some not so much.
Yeah, no, I one of the podcasts that I do is a cheerleading podcast. It's called Cheer Bomb.
It's amazing.
Thank you. It's for competitive cheerleaders. And we did a podcast on a crazy cheer mom story where because there's there are lots of stories, many, and you could replace the word cheerleader for Little League baseball, volleyball. There's just, musical theater. There's crazy mom syndrome. And in this podcast, I said, we all have that. We all have crazy in us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is the part that I got a little pushback on. I said, and those crazy moms, even the most extreme ones, are doing the best they can.
Absolutely.
Because that's where they're at in their personal development.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that what they're doing is right. I'm not forgiving it. I'm not, I'm not judging it, is basically what I'm doing, is I'm saying they're doing the best they can. But hopefully with this podcast, we can help people, give them some tools. And I'm excited because I know this to be factual, which is we as parents affect our children for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
Regardless of the relationship you have with them, good or bad, it's forever.
Every day. Yeah. I like to use the analogy, right, that I always mess up metaphor and analogy, so forgive me on that. But
I do too.
You do too? Yeah. So that we actually, and now I'm going to date myself, like that I picture a cassette tape, right? That we actually put that cassette tape in our kids' brains, right? And that's what plays all day long. A lot of it they're aware of, but more of it they're not.
Subconsciously.
Yeah, but it's still determining their path. And so everything we do all day long, and that's one of the reasons parenting is so hard, that we're in a fishbowl, right? Under a microscope, our children are listening and watching everything we do, and we have no potty breaks, right, from that. And a lot of who we are and what we do is beautiful. And then, like you said, none of us do this accurately, right, perfectly, every day. So they're going to take, everything that we give them. We're modeling for them basically how to be in life, right? And so that's why this is so important. And those of you who are listening, I'm patting you on the back for having the courage to just sit here already and
listen.
And listen. So thank you.
So there's 15 concepts.
Yeah. There are 15 concepts that, I remember it took us how many years to whittle this down?
Oh my gosh. These 15 it took us a long time.
Years.
It took us years to, we're talking about the board, the Be the Adult board. It took us a couple of years we knew what we wanted to do. We had the overall understanding, but to create the content took us a while to narrow it down because there were so many.
There's so many
opportunities. And I wanted to add, I don't think we're saying this is the ultimate way or this is the one way to do it. There's infinite ways to do anything and everything.
Right.
But I love how we've packaged and created this simply to say, here are 15 tools for calm and effective parenting that anyone can start.
Exactly. It's a great place to start, which I believe these concepts take into account the two pieces that I was talking about. One, paying attention to what we bring to the moment. And how we are, and the other is what we do. Because what we do could be textbook perfect, but yet be ineffective and actually cause some harm if we're not showing up in an adult, meaning calm, kind way. Because our children need to feel safe with us. That's the most important thing. If you think about it, when we send our kids to school, or you walk into an office environment, or we send our kid to a baseball field, if we don't feel safe in the environment we're in, if our children don't, then nothing healthy can happen. They can't learn and grow. And so really our family systems, our homes, have to be safe for anything positive
to grow.
To grow, right. And so we individually create that safety or not. And so these...
Is that, can I dig in a little?
Yeah,
Are you saying emotional safety? Is that...
And physical.
Yeah. I made that assumption, but yeah.
Yes. So if our children kind of take a deep breath as they open the door to come home, right, because they're not sure what they're going to get, or they're going to walk on eggshells, or it's unpredictable, and we'll get into all of this as we move forward. That's not safe for them. They're going to focus on how to survive or creatively adjust to the environment and not be able to focus the energy on themselves and growing their best selves. So these 15 skills are really a very beginning way to create safety, to create a relationship that communicates to our children that they're good enough for us and that they can feel safe around us. to grow into their best selves. And that involves teaching them that, but more importantly, modeling it for them, which is so hard with the stresses of life.
No, absolutely. So there's those 15 concepts. Because I'm so passionate about this, because I believe it. I know this. I've seen it in my home. And again, I always want to say I'm not trying to profess that I'm the perfect parent in any shape or form. I just feel that I have the home environment that I wanted, and the best one I can offer my kids. Mm-hmm. And that is, I want to say 100% due to you and these concepts. So I'm really excited to bring it to the public, because it's made my personal, my home life so much. It's peaceful. It's nice. Calm. The relationship I have with my children is completely unique with each one of them. It's
beautiful.
They're growing up to be who they are meant to be. And I want to share that with the world.
Yeah, what more could we ask for, right? And I'm going to say that while I appreciate the gratitude, and I really do, and I receive that, and it warms my heart, I also want to put it back on you that you had the courage to grow, which is extremely hard.
And since you know my story of origin.
Extremely hard.
Extremely hard.
Yeah. Because basically, right, we're helping our children become their best selves. Mm-hmm. That's the hope.
And that's what we want.
That's what we want, and bottom line.
Every mother wants that. Wherever you are in the spectrum of motherhood, you want what's best for your children. Mm-hmm. And hopefully these 15 subjects will help you achieve that in your home. That's the goal.
Yeah, and dads too.
And dads too. I'm sorry, yeah. I always do that. But they love the simple concept, structure of like, I can do this. This is doable. And the being present one, I know, always surprises them, because you don't know.
Yeah, well, a lot of boys are conditioned to fix, right? Mm-hmm. They learn that from their parents, and we could get into that for a whole podcast. But so I think these tools, like you said, are helpful because they're structured. Like, if I do these, then I can quote fix what's going on. Yeah. So I get it. Yeah.
So I don't have my reading glasses on. We have stay calm, behave gently, speak kindly, listen and acknowledge, accepting your children, praising your children, create structure, encourage independence, make time, guide your children, earn trust, apologize, believe in your children, live as your best self, and love your children. So they seem very broad, but we're going to
dig in.
And we invite you all to join us on this journey for the Be the Adult podcast. I'm grateful for Nancy to join us and do this, and I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, and I am grateful to you, Marisol, for that. I was going to say a nudge, but more like put your pointy boots on and kick me to be here. But now that I'm here, I'm relaxing and I'm excited, because we want to help everyone be their best selves and help create a more peaceful world.
And you can follow Be the Adult on Facebook. It's betheadult.org, where you will have an Instagram. You can also go to our website, www.betheadult.org, and find we didn't tell them about the book.
Oh.
You want to tell them about the book?
Yeah, so this amazing Be the Adult group, we created this book. I guess we printed it 2 years ago. 2 years ago this coming fall. And it's a book that it's called From My Heart to Yours, How to Be the Adult I Need. And it was illustrated. We had an art contest in the schools, mostly in Wilmington, North Carolina, where we are. We had probably 1,000 submissions, amazing artwork from 5-year-olds up through high school. And so the book is illustrated by the kids. Yeah, and it's adorable. And the hope is that parents can read this and learn how to parent as an adult, and kids can read it to learn how to interact in a calm, kind, more adult way. And also, in my heart, it's I want kids to feel empowered, to believe that they deserve to be treated in a calm, kind way, and what that looks like. whether it's from their parents or their peers or their partners someday. And so I love that about this book. And I also, when you take time to show it to your children and or read it with them, it shows them that you believe that they deserve for you to do some work, parent to do some work to be your best self. And then we see this stuff coming back at us because we're modeling it. It's in the field at home, and they're doing it too.
And if you want to find the book, you can find it on the website at www.betheadult.org. You sign up for a newsletter on there, and if you'd like to sponsor us, please, we are a nonprofit and we would love you to rate and review us on iTunes. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much too.
Thank you for listening to the Be the Adult podcast. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and don't forget to rate and subscribe to our podcast. A special thank you to a few of our Barn Dance Barbecue fundraiser sponsors for their generous support. Brett Tushingham Wealth Strategies, Coastal Carolina Radiation Oncology, the Valentino family, the Law Office of Jeffrey Porter, and Delaney Radiology. See you on the next episode of Be the Adult Podcast.